How to install Cinesuit rings. What you're going to need is your Sigma art lens, the Cinesuit rings, screws, a screwdriver, and the rubber removal tool. So the first step is to remove the rubber rings on your lens. You're going to stick the pointy end down at the top or the edge so that you get it under and you have room for your fingers to pull it. Then you just keep going all the way around. You just use your thumb to keep it in place and then just pull, and go slowly. I'm speeding this up. Go slowly so that you don't stretch it too much. You just pull it off and then eventually it is off. And you want to store the rubber ring someplace that is sort of dust free, like in the bag from the geared rings. Next up is the zoom ring. Beware that on the Sigma Art 18-35 1.8 there is a plate or a patch underneath at the place that I'm pointing right here. So to avoid damaging it, just insert the tool someplace else. Stick it in, rotate a little bit just to get the edge up so that you can use your fingers to pull it off. And then you just keep going all the way around, little by little. There you can see the patch or plate that I was talking about. And just go slowly, little by little, and then eventually it will come off. Then just place that somewhere safe as well. Next up is to actually put on the rings. So they come pre-assembled. Just take off the screws. There are 2 screws on each ring because they are half rings. First, let's take the focus rings, put on one half, then put on the other half. And then we're going to install the screws. Keep in mind the screws are inserted and installed at a 45-degree angle. Make sure not to tighten the first screw so much, just a little bit so that it's in place. Then you can go to the other side and secure the other one. You should also press or pinch the 2 half rings together so that the screw can be installed. Please keep in mind not to over tighten the screws. This is a lens, so it's fragile. When you start to feel resistance, don't push it. Just make sure it's on there. And then also, you can see I'm feeling the seam. If there is some kind of edge there or a gap or something, you can try to loosen the screw a little bit just to sort of get it into the sweet spot. Just make sure not to over tighten. Next is the zoom ring, and we essentially just repeat the same steps as the focus ring. You put on one half, you put on the other half, and then you just insert the screws. Make sure to just tighten the first one a little bit. Go to the other side, then tighten that all the way down. But again, make sure not to over tighten. When you feel resistance, stop. And there you go. You have a beautiful Sigma Art lens that is quite similar to a cinema lens right now. And how to uninstall. It's essentially just the same thing done in reverse. So the first step is to remove the screws. One by one, you just take them out. And then you can take off the rings. If they've been on for a while, you may have to sort of pull them a little bit. Then just repeat the same thing for the other rings if you have multiple. Also, it's wise to keep on the lens caps. Then you bring out the rubber rings again. And for this lens, the easiest way I've found is to put them on from the bottom. So the focus ring first, that's the biggest one. You just pull it down, go little by little, make sure not to sort of stretch it more than you need to. And just go slowly, bit by bit. Once it's on again, you just want to sort of press it a little bit in, just make sure it's sort of on there the way you want it. And then it's essentially back to the way it was. This is also common practice for just switching them out if they're damaged or whatever. These are not glued on, they are just rubber rings on your lens. They are just pieces of rubber that can be taken on and taken off. When repair is done on your lens, these are likely taken off anyways. And there you go. Now we're back to the way it was. Thanks for watching, and I really hope you enjoy your Cinesuit rings.